Good evening and happy Waterloo Day to everyone commemorating it, especially the regiments of the men involved on all sides. Just wanted to clarify something. I was tagged in quite a few posts earlier, especially by my good friend Zack, who did a really successful podcast for a different channel. And the phrase Prussian or German victory came up far too many times. And I just really hope that through many different mediums, we can start to kind of put Waterloo into a wider context. Waterloo's not about being a British victory or a German victory. It's not like a sports match. This was a wider coalition. I don't at any point want to downplay Blucher or the Prussians' contribution to the campaign during the 100 Days, especially during the sacrifice at Ligny and during the eastern flank of Waterloo, especially during the really fierce street fighting at Plancenoit. But it was not a German victory. It was not a Prussian victory. It wasn't a British victory. It was an Allied victory against Napoleon, a man who had returned for unknown reasons to wage warfare against old enemies. Waterloo was put together as a battle by Wellington with the aid of the Prussian headquarters. That's really important to stress. Blucher at the time was injured. He'd had his horse shot and he was trapped under him. He was actually separated from his headquarters where most of the decisions were made, and they were executed then by Gneisenau, brilliantly executed as a tactical officer. But the wider strategy did not involve Wellington just hiding behind a hill, as many people dismiss. Wellington was not just a defensive general, something I try to highlight so many times. His ability to go on the offensive, such as Vittorio and Porto, his ability to take the initiative, such as Salamanca, proved that he was not just a defensive general. But at Waterloo he had a strategy. That strategy was to delay and block. Those are tactical words about the strategy involved for Blucher to come in and fall upon the eastern flank. If we no longer view it that Wellington was just being static for the sake of it, we view it then as a trap. Wellington drawing in more and more of the Napoleon strength, delaying the day whilst the Prussians could come in on the flank. It was also not just a Prussian victory or a German victory, because we massively then underrepresent the coalition forces involved. The British force itself, of the British regiments, we ignore the King's German Legion, but we also ignore the smaller states, Brunswick, Nassau, Hanover, and the Dutch and Belgian contribution under the Prince of Orange. Their contribution should never be refuted. It was an Allied victory of men stood side by side, bleeding onto the same ground, and under them we defeated Napoleon, finally, for the last time on the 18th of June 1815. That is what makes Waterloo so special. An Allied victory of different nations standing together against the tide of Bonapartism coming in, whether it be pro or anti it. That was what was achieved together under a unified banner of an Anglo-Allied army and then their allies of the Prussians under one banner. So for them and for everyone else on Waterloo Day, cheers.